5-0. Hello guys, welcome back to another match reaction. Arsenal have just beaten Leeds 5-0. What a result. I think we're now probably sitting top of the league. But honestly, who cares right now? But this was a big result. Last week we did not play well against Manchester United, okay? And this was a game to fix amends, okay? This was a game to fix the wrongs from last week. And did we do it? We also did it in flying colors. It was a similar lineup to last week, except for the fact that both Timber and Madueke both came in, who I both expected both to start. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to Madueke and his role moving forward, especially next week. And I think Madueke actually, just quick thing about Madueke, I think he looked much better on the right wing than he did on the left wing. His natural position is the right wing, and I think he looked way more comfortable than he did on the left wing. On the right wing, he's able to cut in, because on the left wing, he was a bit too predictable. He's strong, his weak foot is not the best, so he looked a bit too predictable. But I'm buzzing. Honestly, I am buzzing. I think I mentioned in my preview video that I think this game was going to have a lot of pressure for players like Gyökeres and Zubimendi. But Gyökeres did deliver today. Honestly, what a brilliant goal, especially that first goal, all by himself, by the way. He runs in from maybe the halfway line. That's where it starts. He runs in, cut in, and then just shoots. Bottom left, keeper had no chance. And honestly, I think he could have had a hat-trick today by the amount of runs he's made. But the thing is, no one's finding him, no one is passing. And I can imagine that must be so frustrating for him, because he's making so many runs, right? So many good runs. He's running from the halfway line sometimes all the way up front, and he's never rewarded. There's never that pass in for him, and so I could imagine that's probably frustrating. And I hope maybe over time, maybe next week, or just over time, those runs don't get ignored and he does get rewarded. But it's something different. Honestly, those runs he makes is something different. We don't have much runners in the team. You look at Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, these are not players that are going to run past the defenders, okay? And I think it's a good way to exploit teams, especially teams that sit back where you have runners. You see Liverpool have constant runners, Szoboszlai, Wirtz. Yeah, these players that can run in past the striker and past the defender, but we don't have many of it. And Gyökeres is the only one that can really do it. But the thing is, sometimes the pass is never made to him sometimes. But yeah, like I said, he's made those runs so many times, and the issue is the team is so risk adverse sometimes that they just never want to pass. They never want to make those forward passes. But yeah, hopefully we do see it improve. But set piece FC, that's what we're gonna hear for the next few days, and it looks like we actually improved from set pieces compared to last season, which is crazy. I don't know how we've done it, but once again, another set piece, and not just one goal, 2 goals. And it's probably the new rule that's probably helping us. We saw last season, especially when teams started targeting our set pieces, you saw Gabriel being manhandled, and it's probably these new rules of not blocking players that probably do help us. But Timber, of all the defenders to score in a set piece, Timber, probably one of the most smaller players on the pitch, pops up with 2 goals today. Brilliant, and deservedly man of the match today. But we did, of course, see, unfortunately, 2 players come off in both Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice. And not Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard and Saka. Now, the Martin Odegaard one, I think he should be fine. It looked like it was probably a shoulder. Just for precaution, they probably took him off. But for Saka, it didn't look good. We don't know if it's a hamstring or if it's cramp or what it could be, but potentially he could be out against Liverpool. And boy, that is a big miss. And because you saw his goal today, you saw his goal and the quality he possessed. That was by a weak foot as well. Weak foot finish with his right foot. And that's a brilliant thing about Saka. And it's one thing top players have, is that even when they're not playing their best football, even when they're not being able to beat the defender constantly, they can still pop up with a goal. And he showed that today. His quality showed. A brilliant finish by Saka. I thought he may cut back to Gyökeres, but with his right foot, smashes it in. Keeper had absolutely no chance. And if he is out, that is a big miss, because Saka loves playing against Liverpool. He always performs so well against Liverpool, and if he doesn't play, that is going to be a big miss. And I think today what we saw different compared to what we saw last season was the amount of options. You saw the back bench today stacked. We had Nwaneri on the bench still. We had Trossard, Martinelli, and on top of that, you still have Eze to add on to that. So there was so many options today. The squad depth was much improved from last season. We're able to rest so many players like Timber, players like Calafiori, who need to be managed, because we know they both don't have the best, especially Calafiori doesn't have the best injury record right now. we need to manage their minutes. We can't be playing them every single game, and a good bench with a lot of depth does help with that. But overall, look, a good performance, I would say. I do think I do want to mention one, but I do think maybe the fourth goal came a bit too early, because after that we just really sat back. We really spent half the time just passing at the back. Like, I don't even know. I think I saw more of David Villa on the pitch than I saw Gyökeres. Like, that's how many times David Villa probably got the ball today. Because overall, I think there was a lot of openings. Like, there was a lot of openings, especially in that second half, but we just didn't take advantage. And I think first half was probably frustrating. I think a lot of fans would probably say it was frustrating. Until that corner, we looked very slow. We looked the same as we did last season. Still the same slow build up, overdoing the passes, and Leeds were just able to get into position, get into the shape, sit deep, and yeah, we really couldn't do anything except until the goal came. And after the goal, things opened up. And other talking points is Max Down, when he gets his Premier League debut, gets a penalty. So I think that's probably his maybe third or second penalty won against for Arsenal. I do think it was probably a bit of a soft penalty. Like, if Arsenal got rewarded a penalty against them like that, I probably would be frustrated. But it's what it is. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Max Salmon. Is he going to feature against Liverpool? Probably should. He just came off a penalty. I think he looked quite sharp and quite bright. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him in the next few weeks. But with Gyökeres, man, what a penalty, by the way. None of that stutter. Absolutely bullied in. Keeper had no chance. And I think Gyökeres felt he had some pressure on him. You saw that celebration even after before the celebration. So you saw the relief he had when he screamed, and that almost looked like now he can relax. He just got his first goal. But overall, brilliant result. Heading to Anfield now, that's going to be a bigger test. But for tonight, let's enjoy it. Let's praise the players. We now have just signed Eze. But yeah, enjoy the result, guys. Enjoy the win. And as always, if you enjoy these type of videos, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know who your man of the match was. For me, I'll probably give it to Timber. Yeah, I think Timber deserved it. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one.